Hi everyone and welcome to Inderes TV. Today we're going to talk about Kempower with Analyst Pauli Lohi. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the Q3 numbers and it's hard to describe the figures. They're really, really strong. Could you go into that a little bit deeper?
Yes, so sales and EBIT were in the ballpark that we all estimated. Very strong growth, revenue increased by over 200% and EBIT increased slightly year on year, but relatively to the sales it declined. But anyway, it was as we estimated, and both sales and EBIT exceeded consensus by 9%. So it was slightly positive on that side. But then the new orders, that side was very, very high, 65 million euros of new orders during third quarter. It was over 10 times more than last year during the same period. And I think that in addition to that, their products are very good and they're competitive and there's lots of demand for those and electrification of transportation is a trend that is going on. There is also a seasonality factor that last year when they were mainly in the Nordic countries and there was practically very little deliveries during the winter because it's too cold, you cannot install them. But now when they are expanding to Southern Europe and elsewhere, you can deliver also during the winter time. So that's why you get more orders in the Q3 relatively than last year. So
that was seasonal. Interesting.
That was one explaining factor here, and we tried to take that into account in our estimates, but it still like exceeded our the new orders were like double of our estimates. So very, very strong demand for the products.
Yeah, really fantastic figures for Kempower there. You kind of mentioned it already, but even though it's growing really, really heavily, they have still strong margins. So what's the secret there?
Well, that's their very competitive products, and the product design allows high utilization of the power unit, which means better customer experience with lower investment into the hardware or power infrastructure. So that's a very cost efficient and good design in that product. And their gross margins are best in the industry in 46% in Q3, which was 1 percentage unit better than what we expected. Then looking to EBIT, in relative to sales, it declined compared year to year, but that's because of they have been growing so fast, and their like number of personnel tripled within 1 year. So that basically means that they are using lots of energy, for example, in recruitment, and maybe half of the employees don't even yet know what they are supposed to do. Like they have been so small time yet in the company. So there is going a lot. They have been using resources also to assess expansion into new markets and so on, ramping up production. So they are not optimizing EBIT yet, but they are still maybe only company, or at least among pure play DC charger manufacturers, they are the only profitable company that we know currently. Yeah,
really electrifying, as we said already last time we met. But the one thing my eyes was focused on, it's not, I mean, it's a good thing as well. It's really nice that you have a lot of orders, but the order backlog at the moment looks kind of massive, at least to me. Is it alarming or is it not?
Well, basically the demand for the products is currently growing faster than the ability to deliver, and Kempower has actually had very good ability to deliver this year. They have been able to grow that capacity quite fast. they opened the new factory in the beginning of this year, and now they got like 33 million euro sales in Q3, which is quite impressive. But well, if you look into Q2 and Q3 orders, they were so high, and now you got like 95 million euro backlog.
So that was the number I was kind of going to.
So it's clear that the demand is growing even faster, and they said that in Q4 this capacity will restrict their ability to grow, but I expect their sales to be at least at Q3 level or a bit higher in Q4 still. So I still expect them to gradually increase and ramp up the production capabilities. The key bottleneck is in the supply chains and getting enough those electrical components they need. But they are working on it, and we expect it.
There are solutions coming.
Gradually, it doesn't happen like in one night, but over time.
Okay. Kempower has a really strong internationalization strategy as well going on, and this is really getting some more speed due to the new act in the US. When thinking about the US market, there's this $5 billion national, I'm not sure about the figure, but the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program and Inflation Reduction Act. I think this is probably a really positive thing for Kempower.
Well, that has impacts on Kempower. I can explain that a bit more.
Yeah.
But basically, this is like a stimulus package to speed up electrification of transportation in the US and help people to change for EVs, and that will also contribute to reduction of climate emissions or carbon emissions over medium term. And this also, there's an aspect that in order you to get these subsidies, the product or some part of it has to be made in US. So they are also trying to boost their own industry with this stimulus package.
And it's coordinated to the companies that they can get the subsidies for them.
Well, I think that this is like for one who is buying the project and building this, they get the subsidy, but then of course it helps to stimulate the demand.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So the challenge is that there is quite little time for companies to go to the market and set up operations because the US has been kind of late adopter of EVs, and there is not much production yet in that market, and Kempower doesn't have their own production there yet. Of course, they are already recruiting people and trying to build their supply chain, but and I think that other companies are at least partially in the same situation, that they have work to do before they are eligible for these subsidies.
Yeah, and ready to go. Yeah.
So during next year, Kempower has to comply with these regulations in order to be eligible for the subsidies. So they are busy with this expansion, and then during next year, this 4 billion package of subsidies will be allocated, and then those will be distributed through 2026. So there is
a couple of years.
Yeah, many
forward.
years, but you have to be ready already next year in order to be eligible over that period.
Yeah, so you have to fill certain criteria in order to.
Yeah, you have to have supply chains, and you have to prove that your product has at least some part of it has been made in US and so on. So
okay, but as you said, there are probably many companies. This is no secret to other actors as well. So many companies are probably making plans now. What would be the critical success factor for Kempower in a go-to-market strategy?
Well, now it's the speed is the critical factor, which is kind of little bit maybe distorting the market, because normally you are doing well if your product is competitive, but now it's even more about speed in this case. But this also will affect to the long-term market shares in that market, because those who get their products into this scheme also get a large share of the market.
Of the market already from the beginning.
Yes, and it will affect to like future even though the scheme will end in 2026.
Yeah, that's true. So speed is really the critical success factor here, and the company communicates that as well.
Yeah, and they have plans in place to do that, but they also said that they could consider partnerships or even M&A in order to get the move even faster.
Yeah, so a lot of things happening there, massive growth and even more growth internationally, and perhaps even a good wind and push forward by these American acts. Yeah. Last questions. What about the valuation at the moment? How do you see it?
Well, the valuation is of course high, and I think that the market environment is currently underscoring this high valuation because peer companies multiples have decreased lately, and the stock market required return has been increasing due to the higher rates. So it's not the environment isn't easy for this kind of highly valued companies like Kempower, but still we think that Kempower has been doing so much better than most of its competitors. They will give new financial targets in early 2023, and because there is even more visibility to the orders for the following years. So I think that if you think about their revenue growing to like 300-400 millions in medium term, that is not actually very far-fetched anymore, because they get like 200 million orders already this year. So they have been growing so well that the visibility into estimates has improved, and they have been proving that they are very, very competitive with their products, and it is also visible in results and profitability. So I still think that this is a company that you should own at least a little, and we have accumulated recommendation for it. The EV/EBIT is currently high, but it will decline to 17 in 25 and 11 in 2026. So then it will be quite affordable actually. And if you think about EV market, it won't saturate in a long time, because like in 2030 it will be like 10% or maybe a little more, but the EV adoption is still in the early phases during like this decade, and it will grow a lot during 2030s still. So I think that this is still interesting valuation levels we are talking about today.
Given this mega trend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all your comments, Pauli Lohi.
Thank you.